Coach Quinn is going to take a closer look at the very dynamic skill set of rookie defenseman Adam Fox. So let's head into the Rangers film room orchestrated by Lenovo and CDW. People who get it.
Here are some of Adam Fox's clips from the year, some of the things we've been talking about. You see here in the neutral zone, his anticipation. Montreal tries to go up the wall. Foxy does a great job stepping up, denying the pass. Puck ends up on his stick. We start our offensive transition. Neutral zone again. Him jumping in the play, him going D to D. And watch this play he makes. Really the turning point in the game against Montreal, where he creates offense coming through the neutral zone, takes a hit to make a play, finds Di Giuseppe in the slot.
A beautiful feed from Adam Fox.
Talk about his defensive awareness and just being committed to our structure. Foxy does a great job coming to the net, shoulder checking, picks up the stick, and away we go offensively. And again, one of the things we talk an awful lot about with our defensemen, and we do have a lot of offensively gifted defensemen, is the better we play defense, the more the puck's going to be on our stick and the more offensive we can create. And that's one of the things about Adam Fox that makes him a special player. Again, in the neutral zone, turnover, some deception here. That's one of the things he's really good at, looking people off. You could see St. Louis trying to establish a neutral zone forecheck. Foxy looks him off, and we're able to create transition because of what he does 5 feet inside the blue line right when he gets the puck, and he goes right to the net and continues to join the rush. That's something that we're constantly asking our defensemen to do. And you can see how well he works in tandem here with Lindgren. Our defensive structure's in place. He holds the net front. Lindgren does a good job winning his battle. Foxy does a good job getting open, and again, makes a high-end play, and we're able to create offense off a great defense.
We now welcome in Rangers rookie defenseman Adam Fox. Adam, thank you so much for joining us. We know obviously we're all in unprecedented times, but hockey could come back before you know it. So how are you at least trying to maintain your hockey shape during this quarantine?
Yeah, just trying to work out as much as I can, and it's easy to be lazy and sit around, but obviously knowing that the season could come back, trying to stay in good shape and keep the cardio up a bit.
Adam, I'd like to ask you about your welcome to the NHL moment. Did it feel like there was a time where you first stepped on the ice, you were playing against somebody that you maybe admired growing up? My moment, I remember anyway, was Ray Ferraro, somebody that I had his hockey card, of course, growing up. He was just chirping me relentlessly in a game in Atlanta. Did you have any moment like that, or was it maybe just admiration at some point?
Yeah, I don't know if there was any specific moment. I think for me, I had the opportunity to go to the World Championships, and that for me was a little more of a whoa moment because, guys like Patrick Kane are on the team, Johnny Gaudreau, stuff like that. So I think that for me kind of, made it a little easier to not be as starstruck when, I was playing, NHL games. So I think that for me was a big thing. But, I don't know what game it was, but I took a pretty big hit from Taylor Hall behind our net against New Jersey. It might have been like game 5 or 6. So that was kind of a whoa moment for me. But, yeah, I think having that experience before kind of made it a little easier not to get as starstruck.
It's Garden debut week this week on MSG, Adam. So just take us through what your first experience was at Madison Square Garden. Obviously, being from New York, we got to imagine it was pretty special.
Yeah, definitely had a lot of friends and family at the game, and you definitely try and stay as calm as possible. But the nerves were definitely flowing, and those opening intros when they introduce everyone was pretty special for me, and it was a pretty awesome experience for me to be able to play that first game at MSG with a ton of friends and family there.
Adam, I think Quinny's got one for you. Quinny, you got a question for Adam Fox?
Yeah, did you get the slide board, and how's that going?
I did get the slide board. I think Stromer put a funny comment in the group chat. It almost blew out his back trying to get it out of the box.
You're a lot stronger than Strom, so I'm not worried about you getting it out of the box. So,
but yeah, no, it's good. I've been using it. I think after the first time, the groins were a little more sore than I would have liked. But yeah, I haven't used that since we were at the NCDP, so it was fun to get back on it.
Adam, Coach has been talking to us in the last 2 weeks about how development's not a straight line and there's some ups and downs during a season. I remember thinking after my first couple of games that a pat on the back is about this far away from a kick in the butt. Was there a moment where you felt like you were rolling? Because for us as outsiders, we saw you picking up the game very quick as far as how comfortable you were. Was there a point where you were able to just sit back and say, well, I got humbled last night. Maybe I've got to talk to coach about something. Maybe I've got to work through a few things. Was there any of those moments during the year for you?
Yeah, I don't know specifically when it was. Might have been before, that Christmas break or maybe All-Star break. Had a stretch of like 2 or 3 games where just felt like I was in a kind of a funk and, no puck was bouncing my way and that. But, I think, it's a long season and, that's the good thing is you get to play another game pretty quickly. So, I kind of just was understanding that it was a little bit of a funk and, I'm sure Coach Quinney gave me a few words that helped me get out of it too. But, I think, in 82 games, you're not gonna play perfect in every game. So just understanding that, there's going to be some bad ones and moving on from it pretty quickly.
Coach, do you remember, just to flip the script, do you remember that time when Adam was struggling and were there any things that you said to him to try to, move him along?
Yeah, I think as Adam just alluded to, I think, you hit that stretch right around Thanksgiving, and Val, you probably have seen this happen an awful lot. It's just, it's a long season and guys just aren't used to playing so many games in such a short period of time with the level of intensity that you face in the National Hockey League. And, one of the things that I think is that Adam's fortunate with and all our D are fortunate with is Lindy Ruff does a hell of a job with our guys. They're constantly having conversations. So there may not be one real big conversation. Obviously Adam and I talk, but not as much as him and Lindy because Lindy spends a lot of time with the D. But, the good thing for Adam is that, as you can tell, not a lot bothers him. So if he was going through a difficult stretch, he's got the ability to recover from it a lot quicker than maybe other guys do. But his peaks and valleys, he didn't have the typical peaks and valleys of a rookie. I really believe that his bad games were minimized, and he didn't have those long stretches of bad play.
You talk from an outsider's perspective. We didn't see, the peaks and valleys, but from your perspective, take us just through your maturation process this year and how you just developed into the player that you are today.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it was definitely took me a few more games than I would have liked to get really comfortable and fully settled. But, I kind of felt that after a few games, I was kind of understanding, the pace and, how quick decisions got to be made. And I think, Coach Quinn and, Coach Ruff kind of harped on me about focusing on the defense. And, I kind of knew what I could do offensively, but knew if I, took pride in that, it would help me a lot. And I think it did. So, I think, as the season got on, just, felt a lot more comfortable with, playing in, the NHL, playing at that pace, playing that amount of games and, getting more comfortable with my teammates too. So I think definitely as the season progressed, it got better for me.
Adam, after Mika Zibanejad came back from his injury, you set him up with a beautiful backdoor goal against Carolina. That was one of the highlights of my year as far as covering you. I thought that was a terrific pass as you looked off everybody and surprised everybody on Carolina. Is there one moment, maybe one game, you guys had some great comeback wins during the season, great series against the New York Islanders. You're from there. Was there anything that really stands out when you look back on that terrific season?
For me, there's definitely a ton of moments. Those games in Montreal were pretty cool how those, unfolded and, the comebacks and winning those games. And they were pretty big games for us. The games on Long Island at Nassau Coliseum were awesome for me. The atmosphere there was, I don't know if I've played an atmosphere like that in my hockey career. It was awesome. And, the way we won that with 30 seconds left was pretty special too. And I think just, my first goal against Tampa at home, that was a pretty cool moment for me at home, with family there watching. So there's definitely a lot of moments that, I remember from this year that were pretty special.
Before we wrap this up, your coach has a lot of sayings, things that he finds that he likes to say frequently. We call them Quinnyisms. One of those is the 50-50 area, just for an example, so you know what we're talking about for context here. How many of those Quinnyisms do you think that you could rattle off?
Probably a few.
We're going to test your knowledge now, so let us know what you got.
Well, in practice, a lot of it is don't cross over. He tells me that, and sprint, which kind of goes along with it. One hand on the stick. I think that's a big one. Play through. Always time to play through. I know Bucci loves that one. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot more that I'm missing, but yeah, it's definitely been a while. I might hopefully I get a refresher soon enough.